Bigfoot Research Lab, Jonathan Daltin speaking.
Professor, I hate to keep bothering you like this, but...
Captain, I know any time you call, there's always a good reason behind it. It's no bother at all.
Well, that's good to hear.
So what do you want this time?
What?
I'm just playing around with you. So what's going on? Seriously.
Well, we've encountered somewhat of a mystery here at the barn. This morning when I went out to check on things and see how they were doing, I found a deer carcass half covered in snow by the door of the barn.
What?
I'm not kidding. I happened to be up early doing some chores outside, and I saw it just sitting there from about 50 yards away. And then after a minute or so, I saw Shelkonga open the door. He came outside, slung it over his shoulder like a sack of potatoes, and hauled it inside and closed the door.
Were there any other signs or evidence of anything?
No, with all the snowfall last night, there were no footprints or drag marks to be found. Now, my first thought was maybe another Sasquatch had left it there for them to have for food. I can't imagine anyone other than one of them walking around in that amount of snow. I mean, it's the only thing that makes any sense. But still, no prints or marks of any kind. It's a bit of a mystery.
Boy, I'll say. And you're right. Another Sasquatch would be the only obvious answer. But without the proper kind of evidence, there's just no way we can ever be sure of it. It's definitely something worth investigating. Other than the original 5 of us, along with Charlie and Dr. Ben Kerchoff, I'm positive nobody else knows about them. Another thing I'm certain of is not one of the 7 of us would be trudging around out there in 2.5 feet of snow in the middle of the night.
Well, Charlie was out there walking around in it a few nights ago, but he had some extenuating circumstances going on.
Very true. Well, keep an eye on things around there and let me know if you see anything unusual or suspicious. There's got to be a way to solve this little mystery one way or the other.
Will do, Professor.
Alrighty. Talk to you soon. Bigfoot Research Lab, Jonathan Daltin speaking.
Professor, it happened again last night. I checked at 6 a.m. this morning, and sure enough, another deer carcass was dropped off at the barn door. And once again, while I was watching, Shelkonga came out to get it and hauled it in just like clockwork.
Well, this has definitely got me wondering now. A one-time delivery can be overlooked or explained away, but after 2 in a row, that's enough for us to take some action and see if we can get some answers. Somebody out there, not within our circle, knows they're in there. And while they are providing food for them, the whole thing has me feeling a mite uneasy.
Yeah, me too. We need to come up with a way to monitor the activity around the barn at night. Maybe it'll reveal just who our mystery food provider is.
Well, the answer to monitoring the barn is simple. But with the way the weather's been, the process of installing it may be a bit of a challenge.
What do you have in mind?
A simple, everyday, run-of-the-mill trail cam. There are plenty of trees to mount it on out there. We'll just have to find the right one.
I'm not so sure we should do that.
Well, why in the world not?
Professor, I think you're forgetting the number 1 rule we agreed to with Shelkonga. No pictures, no audio recordings, definitely no video.
Oh, that's right. Wow, I'm glad you reminded me of that. I would have jumped head first into that project without even thinking about it. Thanks for stepping in and setting me straight on that, Captain. You just saved us all a lot of trouble.
Yeah, that wouldn't have gone well at all if we did that.
Yeah, you got that right. Well, peanuts to prunes, man. If we can't use a simple trail cam, then what can we do?
I think in this case it's going to require real human eyes to figure this one out. Somebody's going to have to be here all night long just to keep an eye on the place.
But who in heaven's name would be willing to stay awake in this deep freeze staring at a barn all night long?
Professor, stop for a minute and think about who it is you're talking to and who he works for.
Captain, excuse me for a moment while I get a big black marker and write stupid on my forehead. I cannot believe I didn't think of that.
I can totally understand. In your mind, it's all about the latest high-tech robots, gizmos, and gadgets that can get a job done. They all have their place, and that's all well and good. But for me, there's nothing better than a good old-fashioned set of human eyes and ears to solve a mystery. All I have to do is assign a couple officers to watch the barn who already work the graveyard shift. That way, there's no chance of them falling asleep. Which is probably what would happen if any of us tried to stay up watching the place all night.
Well, Captain, you proved once again that the best ideas are often the simplest ones. That's a Jim Dandy idea if I ever heard one. Why, if a couple of officers can do that, by this time tomorrow our little mystery may well be solved. Come in. Hey, Michael.
Hi, John.
Where you been? I haven't seen hide nor hair of you since the day you and Jerry rescued that Sasquatch off the mountain.
Oh, I've been floating around here, there, and everywhere. I don't really have anything pressing right now, so I decided to explore Brooksdale for a day or two.
Well, good. That sounds like time well spent for someone of your, social status.
It's okay, John. You can say age. It all means the same thing. And besides, it's not like you're some young kid trying to respect your elders. You and I are nearly the same age, and with the exception of flying, you and I have had a lot of the same life experiences.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, and by the way, I just wanted to tell you, you should be really proud of Jerry. I started pressing him a little bit about what's going on with that Sasquatch we rescued, and why a cop is in charge of taking care of him inside an old abandoned barn. But no matter what I threw at him, he just wouldn't budge. That boy really knows how to put a lock on stuff when he needs to.
Yeah, he's pretty good at that kind of thing.
Well, it has me awfully curious. I mean, it isn't every day I lower a 9-foot Sasquatch down from a chopper, leave him outside of a supposedly vacant barn, and someone simply says, "Don't worry, someone will take care of it." It's really hard to just leave that kind of thing alone.
I totally understand. If it were me, I'd have been digging for as much information as I could get. But in this case, I'm not at liberty to say any more than what you already know.
Not at liberty to say. I've heard that line before. Jerry told me the same thing. Well, okay, if I'm not supposed to know, then I guess I shouldn't be trying to pry the door open. If I am supposed to know, then it'll happen organically. Who knows? Your phone could ring right now and somebody could say, "Go ahead and tell him." Ah, who am I fooling? Chances of that happening are probably pretty good.
Bigfoot Research Center, Jonathan Daltin speaking.
Professor, I just had a talk with Shelkonga. He told me that we could go ahead and tell the one who flew the flying machine all about him and his family and all that's going on with them.
Oh, yeah? Well, that's a real surprise.
Yeah, he said anybody who cares enough to risk their lives to rescue one of their people deserves to be part of the inner circle. Words to that effect.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, Captain. That's great news. Ironically enough, that man is presently sitting right here in front of me in my office. His name is Michael McGraw, a.k.a. Mellow Yellow.
Well, isn't that a surprise? I guess the timing is perfect then. You can go ahead and tell him the whole story, and we'll add another member to our group.
Will do, Captain. Thank you. And thanks Shelkonga for me, too.
I'll be sure and do that.
Okay, you stay warm now, you hear?
I will.
I'll see you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Michael, that was...
Nope, don't say a word. Let me guess. First of all, I'm now a member of the group, and I get to learn all the inner secrets about what's been going on. And second, who in blazes is Shelkonga?
Well, the roads are clearing up a little more. Sure makes it easier to get around.
Hey babe, while we're out, how about we stop off at the store and get some food for the Sasquatch family?
Yeah, sure. It'll save us from having to go back out later.
I sure hope there are some good deals on meat. It's getting so expensive.
Well, it's a good thing everyone at the lab is sharing in the expense. I can't imagine any 1, 2, or even 3 people who could afford to feed them through the entire winter.
I mean, feeding them a few berries or some peanut butter is one thing, but enough meat for them to survive the entire winter? That is a huge amount of money.
So, what do you buy a Sasquatch for dinner? Steaks, pork roast, hamburger, spare ribs, all of the above? With the amount they eat, I don't think the store could keep up with the demand. And even if they could, even with all of us buying some for them, I don't think this is going to be affordable at all.
Well, from the looks of things here, I think it's pretty much a moot point. Take a look.
Wow, they must have had a huge run on meat today. There's nothing left but a couple of pounds of ground beef and 2 or 3 chickens.
That's not much more than a snack for one of them.
Well, wouldn't you know it, just when we need it the most, too. This is going to be a lot tougher than we thought it would be.
Yeah, we might end up having to go up north to get it instead. It's a lot cheaper there anyway.
True, but if another storm hits, we're not going to be able to get there. And if that happens, then what?
You have a point there. Well, I guess this was pretty much a useless trip as far as shopping is concerned.
Well, we'll try again tomorrow, I guess.
You know, I was just thinking, you still haven't told me everything that happened with you out there on the mountain.
I know. I've just been so busy since then, I haven't even had a chance to take a breath or settle down or anything since I got back.
Well, how about we take a couple of hours tonight and settle in by the fire, get nice and warm and comfy, and you can tell me the whole story over a cup of hot chocolate and marshmallows.
I would love that.
Sharing the night together, oh, yeah. Sharing the night together, oh, yeah. Sharing the night together,
Bigfoot Research Lab, Jonathan Daltin speaking.
Hello, Professor. This is Dr. Ben Kerchoff. You and I have a mutual friend by the name of Captain Jim Willis.
Oh, you know Captain Willis, huh?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I've known him for about 10 years. He and I are both part of an undercover Sasquatch research team. I'm the one who was brought to see the injured Sasquatch and reset his leg.
Oh, so you're the one he was talking about. Well, Doctor, what can I do for you?
Well, actually, I was thinking in terms of what I might be able to do for you and the people who work for you at your lab.
Oh, yeah? And what might that be?
Professor, I have learned that your people have been providing food for the family of Sasquatch who've been staying in that barn.
Yes, that's true.
Well, I'm sure you're aware, Professor. Food costs are skyrocketing all over the country, and Brooksdale is no exception. When I heard that your people were donating money and food to help feed that family, I wanted to do something to help relieve some of that burden.
Well, that's right nice of you, Doctor. Everyone is struggling quite a bit right now, so we can use all the help we can get.
Yes, that's exactly why I am calling you. I want to donate enough food to the cause so that no one else has to struggle. Now, if they still wish to donate something, that's up to them. But I just didn't want the burden of the entire cost to land on just your employees. Believe me, I am well aware of how much it would cost to feed the family of Sasquatch. And I know for the fact that there's just no way your people can fully support that family and buy food for themselves at the same time.
Yes, I'm well aware of that situation. Unfortunately, I think we've sort of bitten off more than we can chew here.
Exactly. And I'm here to help make that chewing a little easier for your people.
Well, what exactly do you have in mind, Doctor?
I want to donate $1,000 per month to your cause.
$1,000? Holy criminy, Doctor. I don't know what to say. Other than Thank you.
That's quite all right, Professor. And don't you worry. That amount is well within my ability to maintain on a month-to-month basis.
Doctor, I am speechless at your incredible generosity. I can't even begin to thank you for what you're doing here.
The best way to thank me is to simply take good care of that family through the winter. And while you're at it, learn as much as possible from them.
Doctor, you can be sure we will, on both accounts. And I will never forget this day. Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure, Professor. When can we get together?
Doctor, you just name the time and I'll make it happen. Now, let's see here. Hey. Wait just a minute here. How are they gonna...
Hello?
Captain, I have a question.
Sure, what's up?
Well, I don't know if I forgot or if you forgot, but the question begs to be asked. How are these two guys you're sending out to the barn for a night gonna stay warm in that there icebox? They're gonna have to have some kind of heat source, you know?
That issue has already been thought of and taken care of, Professor. There's a company called Heat Core Technologies. They've developed a heater especially designed for the police force. It has a central heating unit inside that runs off the car battery. It produces the same amount of heat as any other car heater. It's been installed into the dash of about half a dozen cars so far. It'll keep those boys plenty warm through the night.
You don't say. Well, how do you keep it from killing the car battery overnight? That's quite a bit of juice you're asking for there.
The heater has a built-in alarm that goes off every 3 hours, indicating the car battery needs to be charged. Along with the alarm, a red light is seen on the dashboard, so all they have to do is start the car, let it run for a few minutes until they see the red light go out, indicating the battery's been charged, and then they can go back to using the heater again.
Well, that sounds like quite a fancy piece of machinery right there.
Yeah, it's quite a high-tech toy for sure. As I said, it was developed especially for the police force to keep officers warm during the occasional wintertime stakeout, such as this one. We've only used it a handful of times, but in each case it's performed perfectly.
Well, that's good to know. It really had me wondering how they were going to get through 6 to 8 hours of extreme refrigeration out there.
It's no problem at all. We have it well in hand.
So when is this all-nighter going to happen?
We're actually looking at tonight. There's no big storm forecast for tonight, so it should be, well, not good, but better conditions than we've been having lately. So if all goes well, we'll have some answers by tomorrow morning.
Here's your chocolate, babe. Just the way you like it. With whipped cream and chocolate sprinkles on top.
Ah, thank you. That's perfect.
Wait, hang on a second. You have a spot of whipped cream on the tip of your nose.
I do? Oh, boy. Here, pass me that box of tissues.
Now come here.
What?
A little closer. You taste good.
I can't believe you just licked it off my nose.
Hey, couples do those kinds of things. Besides, it's just one more excuse for me to get close to you.
Well, if that's the case, then I don't mind a bit. Now this is more like it.
Hey, thanks for getting the fire going. That really makes it nice in here.
Yeah, it really does.
We haven't had a night like this in quite a while. We need to do it a lot more often.
Yeah, you're right. If I can ever stop bringing my work home with me.
Well, let's make it a rule then. No work beyond the front door. Once you get inside, there is no research lab, no paperwork, no phone calls. Just us until we leave for work the next morning.
Sounds like my kind of night.
However, tonight is the exception to the rule, because I want to know exactly how you rescued a Sasquatch off the side of a mountain.
Well, first off, I have to tell you, it was one of those life-altering events that most people have maybe 1 or 2 times in their lives.
I know. I can feel it. You're totally different than you were when you left that day. What happened out there?
Well, when we got there, I noticed he was about half buried in the snow. And when Michael started lowering me down on the rope, right away I could see he had ice crystals all over his face. I knew right then that he'd been there for several hours. He was trapped under a huge tree. He couldn't move at all. At one point on my descent, some hot air suddenly vented out of the chopper, causing me to drop about 6 feet, all in less than a second.
Oh my God, that must have freaked you out.
Yeah, it did. At first, I thought the rope had broken. I think that was the one and only time when a shockwave of fear went right through me like a lightning bolt. And I thought, okay, this is it. I'm going to hit the ground and either break both my legs, or I'm going to exit this world next to a giant Sasquatch buried in about 3 feet of snow.
I can't even imagine how that must have felt.
Anyway, when I finally landed on the ground, I was suddenly struck with the fact that I was actually standing next to one of the biggest Sasquatch I'd ever seen in my life. I had a moment there when I was like totally overwhelmed. Michael had to keep pulling me back to the job we had to do, but I just couldn't seem to stop thinking about where I was and who was laying in front of me. I'd never been so close to one of them before. But Michael kept dragging me back over and over, saying, "Focus, focus." He told me to get the rope tied around the tree so he could pull it off of him. That took about a minute or so. Then when I gave him the all clear, he lifted the tree off and swung it over about 100 feet down the mountain and dropped it off. At that point, he told me to start checking for signs of life, so I put my hand over his mouth and I got eye level with his chest to see if there was any movement. And, I didn't see any. At that moment, I felt so hopeless. It was like my whole world had just crumbled around me. We had worked so hard to get there. But from everything I was seeing, we were too late.
Oh, babe, that must have been just awful.
Well, at that moment it was. I felt my stomach immediately tie up in knots, and I felt the tears well up in my eyes. And in that moment, I felt a level of sadness that I had never felt before. It was like the deepest, darkest level of hopelessness I'd ever experienced.
I felt that same hopelessness after all the fires were out and all the grassmen were gone. I felt like I was the only living being left. So believe me, I can relate.
Well, I'm glad you can.
So what happened next?
We had basically given up all hope at that point. Michael started to lower the bassinets so we could get him out of there. He was telling me how to operate it, but I was so distraught with sadness I wasn't even listening to him at that point. I was making sure all the straps were fastening around him, but by that point, I was an emotional wreck.
I'll bet you were.
Then I noticed one of the straps wasn't going around him properly. I mentioned it to Michael. And then, oh my God, I feel like I'm going to cry.
It's okay.
I looked down at the strap that was stuck, and out of the corner of my eye, I saw his arm move.
I can't even imagine the relief you must have felt.
Well, relief wasn't really the first thing. Actually, my first feeling was that of shock. I was like, am I really seeing this? Is this really happening? And then I yelled to Michael and told him about it. It took me a few seconds to process what I'd seen. I mean, up to this point, I had pretty much resigned myself to the fact that he was dead. So when I saw his arm move like that, it was like a case of severe emotional whiplash. I was yelling at Michael that I saw his arm move and how I wasn't crazy, but I'd really seen it. And then... Oh, God.
It's okay.
And then... It was as if everything got real quiet. And suddenly I didn't hear the chopper above me anymore. I didn't hear anything. It was as if time itself had come to a complete stop. I felt like I was separated from everything. Like I was in a bubble. I couldn't hear anything. And then it happened.
What happened?
I was staring down at the Sasquatch, still trying to absorb what I had just seen. And he opened his mouth and he said, "Thank you."
You mean...
Yes, he actually spoke to me. Not mind speak. He opened his mouth and spoke it.
Oh my God, now I think I'm gonna cry.
They were the most beautiful words I'd ever heard. I started to cry like I've never cried before in my life. I was so overwhelmed with emotion, I couldn't even think straight. All I could do was just sit there in the snow and cry like a baby. I finally radioed Michael, and still crying, of course, and told him what he'd said. I'd gone from the deepest, darkest despair to the happiest tears I've ever cried.
Wow, talk about an emotional roller coaster.
Yeah, it sure was. Then I told him through mind speak that we were going to take him to someplace warm where he could get some food and get some help. He mind spoke back to me saying how he was so cold. But I reassured him that everything was going to be okay. After that, I gave Michael the okay to lift him up, and then I grabbed the rope, and Michael hauled me back into the chopper, and that was that.
I don't even know what to say to all this. That had to be the emotional experience of a lifetime for you.
Yeah, it really was.
And to go from thinking he was totally dead to suddenly realizing he was still alive, that had to be... I don't even have words for that.
Neither do I. I don't think I'll ever be able to wrap my head around it all. All I know is it changed me. And I will never be the same again.
I love you.
I love you too.